Well, here we go again. Episode 14, Mark. This is
14.
14, yeah.
Quick.
Swallow of brave juice. Thank you very much, and we'll get started. Right. Good evening, folks. PJ here from Midlife Models and the DMC, along with my good friend and co-host, and Mr. Martin Deere from Martin Deere's Dinky Restorations. Good evening, Mark.
People. Evening.
We may go from 2 to 5, 2 to 3. We're not entirely sure who's going to turn up. Luke's had to nip out, but he'll be with us soon. Michael might still be in bed, and we think Luke is and Laz is travelling between countries. But don't be surprised if at any point they pop up on the screen. So I'll be covering the chat, and I can see that we've already got some guys there. Good evening to Mr. James himself, JMO. RE1. Yes, I've got no idea what you're saying there. That's proper Northern. Yeah. Evening, Nick, and good evening to Mr. Ian Holly. Hi, Mick. Hi, Ian. Evening. Well, boys, thanks for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure to see you in the chat. So we'll go through the admin stuff first, and then we'll kick on and take it from there. Hopefully by that time some of the other guys will have joined us. So I'm going to put I should have done this earlier on, so let's just show this banner show our Patreons. God bless you, people. To Tony, to Lee, to Luke, to Ian, to Phil, for supporting us on Patreon towards our StreamYard license that enables us to do this. Many thanks from, well, me and Martin at the moment, but thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
We had a bit of a shock last week when we found out that the StreamYard license had doubled in price. And as Tony pointed out, whenever we do a transaction, because it's from dollars to pounds, it goes from Patreon to my PayPal account. There's a 1% payout for that. It's only 16 pence at the minute, but wherever they'll find a way of taxing you for something, they're going to do it. And Ian's chucked in as well from a voluntary perspective. So I can't thank you guys enough for doing that. So if you want to support us, by all means, if you haven't already, I would imagine all the guys that are on have already subscribed. But if you feel like chucking, well, I think it works out at £1.75 or £3.75. By all means, go and join our Patreon channel. We're looking at alternatives where we're not trying to pay tax out, so that we don't con anybody, as though we ever would. It's just the way it is. It's the easiest method for us to get an helping hand, an hand up. So that out of the way. Secondly, Diecast Revive. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Evening. We
have bust, smashed, cracked, gone beyond all Call of Duty with our Paint It Blue challenge. We are sitting at £2, which has exceeded last year's. I can't, again, hand on heart. It's amazing that the charity that we've got within our community. There's still at least 2 payments to go in, so I suspect it'll be around about the 350 mark by the time we've done. So on behalf of, again, everybody at the DMC, thank you very much. Thirdly, our next challenge, should you choose to accept this mission, should you choose to accept this mission, Martin, we are doing the More Than 4 challenge in October. So more than 4. October, yep. More than 4 wheels is what it means. So if you want to do a lorry, a tank, anything that's got more than 4 wheels, by all means, have a crack at it. Send us your before and after pictures by the 15th of October, and you'll be included in our DMC YouTube gallery that we put together every month.
And you might get a crackerjack prize.
You might get a crackerjack. That's probably we'll get. Right. find when I was going around shopping, I can't remember if it was in Iceland of all places. They did some Taverners wine gums, and I thought that'd be a great prize. You know, if we ever went down the route of saying whose is the best restoration, we could send them a bag of Taverners wine gums.
A bag. You send one. You send one.
just a bag of Taverners wine gums. Right. So who knows? JMO, we've knocked it out. The I'm going to say ballpark. JMO, you're absolutely right. I'm struggling counting with my carpal tunnel. We've knocked it out. Like I say, the generosity is amazing. We've raised close. We've been doing this for 4 years, and we're close to £1,000. Play apps. I joined yesterday. Is this discussion moving to Sunday? No, it's our alternate day. Play apps. Unfortunately, Martin went to a family occasion last night, and I went to see an AC/DC tribute band. So we were both unavailable, and it's me that kicks the stream off. So we shifted it to Sunday. Laz was swapping between Hungary and Romania, so I don't know whether he'll make it tonight. We're still not sure where he is.
He's AWOL.
He's AWOL, yes. I think we've missed a couple of weeks. And Luke has just had to drop his brother off somewhere, so he'll be joining us soon. So there you go. I think so. Yeah, Patreon, paint it blue, sign up. How much we paid?
We'll soon be chatting about the Ashes as well. That's coming. Yeah. That's coming up quick, isn't it?
If you're not aware, we've got 3 events left this year. Obviously, in October we've got more than 4. In November, we're going to be doing the Any Forces vehicle. And we kind of widened that out, didn't we? So we went down the Any Forces vehicle, including emergency services.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd try that.
It gives a broad scope, then, doesn't it? It can,
Yes. And then in December, we have an Ashes challenge in December. So we've got a few Australian friends in our community. And they'll set as a challenge 1 year, and the Brits will set the challenge the following year. And this year it is any mini. So if you've got a plastic kit of a mini, which I think probably is quite rare, or a die-cast mini, or a wooden mini, or you want a 3D printer mini, yay! You can have a go at doing that. Martin loves it. Any mini, it doesn't matter what you do to it. You can customize it, restore it, as long as it's a mini, and it's all a bit of fun. And on the back end of that, we have set next year's challenges. We for those that know, we have our tavern on a Friday night. We sat down completely sober, discussed what we're going to be doing next year. There was one particular event that we ummed and ahed about, so we're going to be putting it live on the Facebook channel for people to suggest, for 1 month only, what they would like us to do as a challenge. The only thing I will say is try and keep it generic. Don't be too specific, like you've got to paint an Hot Wheels something or other. We try to keep all our challenges open so that anybody can take part in anything we do, whether it's a model or a die-cast vehicle, etc. etc.
Yeah, good.
So, you could go down we've done things in the past like any film vehicle, which keeps it all open. If you build it, they will come. I know that's from the old Fields of Dreams, isn't it, with Kevin Costner?
Brilliant. That's old. That's old film, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic movie. Got James Earl Jones in it as well. Yeah. And I think it's one of the last appearances of Burt Lancaster.
I would say, probably, yeah.
Yep, James said so. Let me keep track of what we're saying. Hope he's not nicked my slot. Mick, Crackerjack Penn. Crackerjack, can you remember Leslie Crowder and Peter? What was it? The little short guy, Peter.
The little fella looked like Ronnie Corbett, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they used to play this game like Cabbages and Kings, didn't they? Where the kids would hold their arms out, they just pile them in pile all these presents on. They'd never do it now. Triple your license fee nowadays.
A lot of them. I watched a few clips of Michael Barrymore earlier on today, when he had the kids on. What Kids Saying, isn't it was called? And they got the kids on the stage, and parents were in the audience.
Yeah, where the kid was telling the blue jokes.
Yeah. They just ask the kids questions, and they come out with all this stuff. And they must. I mean, they wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't be able to do it today. They wouldn't allow it today. But Yeah,
I saw something similar with him in it, and he got this little boy sat on the sofa like, and he said, "Well, you've got a joke to tell, have you?" And he went up the front of the stage, and it was the bluest joke you'd ever heard. Like, and this kid was only like 7 or 8 years old, and Barrymore's in the back, like, "Oh my god,"
Yeah. Was that the one with the duck? The duck goes down to it. Yeah.
Peter Glaze. Yeah.
That's him, Peter Glaze. Yeah.
Glaze. Mark Laspel. I'm sure Mark Laspel was on it at one point as well.
Maybe later on when they started going.
Playoffs. I hope you had fun. I had a blast. I'm a heavy metal, not art. I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. JMO, I went to see OCDC. Took them 3 hours to sweep the stage. It took most of us 3 hours to get down to the stage last night, JMO. Most of them were on walking sticks and Zimmer frames. That's how old the audience was. I'm well on with my painted blue Corvette. Good lad.
Good.
Just good evening, Jerry. Small crew today.
Evening, Jerry.
Well, hopefully it will expand slightly. Welcome back, mate. Good to see you. I'm glad there's so many comments coming. It's just trying to pad it out while we're trying to get some of the boys on. If you they will come, I like the sound of that. I've got this thing in my head about a diorama, but I don't know how well it'd go.
Yeah, that's a bit tricky because a lot of people wouldn't have this stuff in it,
How about less than 4? I like that. That's a good one as well.
Yeah, less than 4. Yeah. That's all the bubble cars covered then.
I was going to say that's got wheels, but actually it's got less wheels on it. That makes no sense whatsoever. But good call, I like that. Less than 4. Peter Glaze. Been that bored this week. If Barrymore invited me to a pool party, I would have gone. Right, okay, that's fair enough. Moving on slightly.
We're getting there now.
You're right along.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about, and by all means, if there's anything that we've covered in the past that you've got any questions about, if there's any
categories, please do. Yeah.
Any categories that you would like us to talk about. I've learned a lot from the boys, and the stuff that I've learned, we've all passed the knowledge on between us. I've recently got heavily into 3D printing along with Michael, and that's just. I'm going to show you some samples in a moment. When we have our go around the houses of what we've been up to, some samples of some of the stuff that I've been doing. We've all got our little side projects, Mark.
Yeah.
You like doing like doing the Timu models, don't you?
I'm doing one at the minute, actually. But do all sorts. I would like to see you. Yeah.
You go. Sorry, mate. You go.
Yeah, I'm just doing. I messed with them, and I've got a few other ones in today. I did the book nooks and miniature rooms and stuff like this. I mess with most things. I like doing dioramas and stuff like this. But you see, when it comes to 3D printing, I'm still playing with Play-Doh, mate.
Overall, the stuff that what comes around goes around, isn't it?
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
We've moved on, and if we can pay back some of the stuff that we've learned from you, you can learn from us.
I just show the people who don't know. If I can get this on camera, this is really, really tiny.
Just pull back a bit, mate. Just pull back a bit too. There, that's nice.
It's all individually made. All individually made.
Models,
Yeah. So that's what I mess about with. I find it's good for keeps your fingers and your brain active and stuff. I like to keep active.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you have
Oh,
to even if you're doing leaves on plants, you have to fold them
oh
over.
yeah, leaves and plants and yeah, yeah. Don't tell you. I'll just try and pick this up here. It's a, where am I? Let's get this one. Pick it up there. You might be able to see it, and you might not. I'll do my best to show you. But I'm going to show you a flower head here, and it's got 8 to 10 pieces in that flower head. Where am I going? There it is. And that flower head. The petals, the inside, and everything else. Yeah, wow. It's good fun.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. While you're on a roll, what have you been up to this week? Let's go down that route.
Right. And, okay. Get on to the nitty gritty. I've just completed. I'll just get these two out here. This is one I did earlier. The 2 tankers. The 2 Bedford tankers. That's Wednesday's video coming up.
Glorious.
I did the milk tanker and the mobile gas tanker. Yeah.
So nice. You've got a fantastic shine on that as well. On both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been working on that, and I was doing. Get it out again. This will be a video on the 1st of September. This is this was completely. The front end of that was completely. With this camera on this way around, it's a bit awkward. Was completely destroyed down here, down the wing, front wing, all eaten away with rot. If you've watched one of my videos at the end of the month purchasing donations, a couple of months ago I bought a box of completely destroyed, wrecked, corroded cars and vehicles, and this is one of them. So there's a video on that. It wasn't intended to be a video, but it turned out to be a video. I just was doing it, and I took a couple of shots of it, and I thought, you know what, I just might as well carry on and make a video. So that's what I did. So that's what I've been up to.
Okay.
At the moment.
I've had the Paint It Blue challenge on the go for feels like forever. So I've still got this Renault 16 that's got the little switch underneath that when you move it backwards or forwards, the boot pops up. I have got the boot around somewhere. I noticed that you did one of these. The irony is, I thought I'll have a look on YouTube, see if anybody's done one. And who is it? Martin Dare comes at the top of the bloody list. So that was there's the boot. So I have got the boot. I've got to fit it, and the bonnet's somewhere. I'm going to do a bit of detailing, which is funny enough what we're going to talk about later on. I've been doing that, but my time it's like I've got no time at the minute because my 3D printer is just going through the mill. A lot of us invested in these 3D printers to do spare parts like interiors and bumpers and things like that. Well, I've gone down a different route because I know the boys have got that pretty much covered. And I thought, what would I like to see? What can I get off with 3D printing? I tested it. So I've gone down a Ray Harryhausen creature feature route. So this is one I'm going to give you. I've got about 7 of them. So this is Medusa from Clash of the Titans, and I have started to paint the bottom off. And there's a reason why I've only painted the bottom off. I found a YouTube video that told you how to do the scales with the tail, but it never finished the top off. So I just did the tail. And that's got 3 layers of different colours of Citadel paints, which helps because I've just found a Citadel paint shop a street away from where I live. And I'm not saying I'm living there, but I'm on first name terms with the staff now. So that was Medusa. This is the one I wanted to show you, Martin, that I've just primed and base coat, which is the creature from the lagoon.
Oh yes, yeah. God, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I did that.
Very similar to the mummy. Yeah.
These I've got 4 of. These have just been primed and put on a plate, and these are the skeleton, the children of the Hydra from Based in the Argonaut. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place with the camera. I've got 4 of these, and they've been base coated. I've done Pegasus,
That's nice. I like that. Yeah.
Well, Clash the Titans again. Got myself a giant scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
The Harpy from Jason and the Argonauts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. I tell you what, they're really, really good. Those.
Yeah. This was the first one. It was skeleton, and this is one I've kind of almost
I like him. I like
completed, where I've actually added the top colour and highlights and done the shield and what have you. And then finally, if you're a gamer, which I'm not sure how many people are, this is Vault Boy from Fallout 4, which my daughter and me are mad about. He's my daughter stole the first one. She was over last night, so she's had the first one that I'd already painted. So I thought, well, bugger it, I'll paint a bigger one then. I'll print a bigger one, and I've printed a bigger one now, so that'll be more.
She'll be having that next when she comes over.
Yeah. Well, she's given me the idea of can you do I was saying to you earlier off screen, can you do a werewolf? Can you do Frankenstein? Can you do the old Hollywood horror movies?
I think didn't Airfix do a series of monsters like that? I can't remember these days. I know he did some figures in the bigger boxes. One, you've got a Yoda there. Have you still got your Yoda there?
Oh no, he's got. Oh, sorry, no, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone, has he?
I gave it to me. I gave it to me I did it for my granddaughter, and she came up ironically yesterday. Granddad, have you done that? Have you done my baby Yoda yet? And that was it. She wasn't going to put up until I'd give it to her. So, well, that was the first one we did. Was the Convoy, if you remember. But that was on a PLA printer. Oh, hello! It looks like. Thank God we've beefed it out enough that he's made it. Thank God for that.
How are you guys? Hey, gentlemen.
So, welcome to Luke from Diecast.
How you doing?
We're just waffling here just to keep it going, mate. So you got here. So I'm going to take the banner off because it's hiding, Luke.
I just saw this volume up.
Yeah. 3 buttons, mate. 3 buttons on the top.
3 buttons. There we go.
Story of my life. So let me just go back to while Luke's sorting himself out. Ian saying, does a spare wheel count as four? More
than 4.
More than 4, yes. If it's on display, Ian, yes, it is, mate. Absolutely. Because there's a lot of the Dinky and Corgi ones. I don't know whether you've got an example of one there, Mark, close to hand, where there's a spare wheel on the back of a unit or something like that. So yes,
well, you've got. Yeah, you can have. If you look at the Corgi Volkswagen steerable Safari, that's got a wheel on the roof.
Steering wheel on the roof.
It's got a roof so that would go, wouldn't it?
Play up saying, awesome, Martin. Nice finish, PJ. Thank you, play ups. Jerry, I brought a jar sealer from Temu. I'm going to use it as a vacuum chamber. I'm going to paint cracked windscreens with UV resin, hoping to drive the resin into the cracks. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that might work. Yeah, that would be Jerry. Get with that. Yeah, because that could be a game changer if that works.
Yeah. If you've got any photos, Jerry, that you can send along to us, we'll publish them on the Facebook page by all means. Is a game or anything like a goer? Well, yeah, I suppose it could be. Play-ups. Hi, Luke. And Ian. Luke, nice to see you. That's good stuff. Right, well, beef this out a bit more. We might be joined by Michael. I think he's still in bed. What have you been up to, Luke? What have you been cracking on with this week?
You know what? Today, finally got onto a bit of diecast. I started this model well over a week ago. I managed to get it into paint about 2 hours ago, which he's done.
No,
that's a big Dinky Mustang. Stripes up it.
Nice.
Now I wanted to put a bit of a bump on the bonnet. I I managed to do that using a base plate off an old car that I had. So it's actually die-cast that bump on the bonnet there, and you can see it.
Nice.
Well,
What colour green is that then?
That's lime gold, it's called.
Yeah, you said lime gold.
Yeah, it was used, I think it was 1967 or 66 up to 72. They used that colour on the Mustang. I think it's one of the best colours he did it in, personally.
So you don't see many one-to-one ones in that colour at the moment, do you?
No.
They're usually the reds and the. Yeah, that's cool. Nice.
And like the metal grey, and a lot of them are in that. But I thought I'd just do something a little bit different with it. The only thing I haven't done is printed the wheels yet, which is not like me. They're usually done and I spray them at the same time, but I'll get on with that this week. I'm going to just get back to putting the videos out on a Thursday, because the last 5 weeks or so they've been here, there, and all over the place. So I'm going to go back to a Thursday on the upload.
And the stripes, Luke. Did you mask the stripes off to do them?
Masked them up, mate. Yeah, just used.
That's pretty fine, isn't it?
Yeah, you've seen. I've put some of the tape on there. There's that stuff there.
Cracking, mate. Yeah.
There's a 5mm, and I used a 0.4 just for the smaller stripes on the other on each side of the bigger stripe.
Is that sorry? Did you say is that Timu? Sorry, Tamiya. That.
No, it's not. I can't remember. It was fine now. Hold on, wait there.
I didn't know you could get the masking tape that fine. That's what made
Micron it's by.
Micron. Okay.
It's on eBay. That's where I found them anyway. They're on there. I'll send you a link for them.
Yeah.
Buy them off there. I cheat a little bit when I do the stripes, so because I lay I spray the car green, and I just come over them, blow the white over it, put the masking tape down, then just spray the green again.
Yeah.
Rather than masking out. It's a lot of masking otherwise. It's just a quicker way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's same effect at the end of the day, mate.
Yeah, it is same effect.
Yeah. I mean, the problem I've always had with masking tape, and I mean, I've learned that you before you apply the masking tape, take some of the adhesive out of it by putting it on the back of your hand or putting it on a table.
Don't need to with that, PJ. It doesn't leave any residue behind.
Right. Okay.
You straight on.
No, it wasn't the residue. I've had it from pulling paint, because it's still been a little bit too. Mind you, might have been my own fault for not letting the paint dry hard enough.
That's down to not rubbing the plastering that, mate. The undercoat.
Yeah, we talked about this kind of stuff before, didn't we?
Yeah. If you don't rub the undercoat, the paint will lift off.
Sorry, just noticed the chat. Hi, gentlemen, and nice to see you, Luke. Love your wife.
Go on, I'm going to hurt here.
We like Luke. We like Owen's wife. She'll pop her head in every now and again in the tavern on a Friday night and say hello. How are you, mate? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining the chat.
Should we watch you in the house?
Check
on the telly.
There's no escape.
Yeah, keep an eye on you, mate. Keep an eye on you.
I'm not going to say what J-Mo says to you, Luke, because you'll only upset you.
He can inbox me if he wants, darling.
It may be something to do with the location you live in, and he's saying hello. It wasn't. Good to see Jessica. I Pimpy. I Scouse. We've just had a message from Luke's wife, Martin, that's watching them and watching him. I Luke's missus. Right, there we go. Right. That's good.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I did. That's my fault.
Gotta behave yourself now.
There is the boy.
He's in the house. He's been in Anglesey all day with my mum and dad. I was meant to go there today looking for cars, but the weather's not been good enough, so I jacked it off and I just cracked on with getting this Mustang done. All
right. So we've padded this out as much as we can, waiting for you to join us. So it's not me and Martin waffling like a pair of old gifts. Like so, what was looking at this week was highlights. Now we've talked about highlights on the. You was in the tavern, so you know what we're talking about. We've talked about highlighting headlights and stuff like that, but perhaps other customization that you've done to a vehicle in the past. So interiors and stuff like that. What would you look at when if you're doing customization? And then the other topic we're going to cover as much as we can. Let's put it that way. Is decals. Because there's like many ways, there's 10,000 ways to skin a cat, and decals is one of those kind of subjects. As along with tools, 3D printing, there's 10,000 variations on what you can do and how you do it. So, Mart, being as you took your 2 cents worth in with this, so it's usually his fault. Usually, I'll suggest something, then Mart will go, "No, why don't we do this?" And I'll go, "That sounds good. Let's do that instead."
Right. Okay. Highlighting interiors, engine bays, and other bits and bobs you can do inside. If for instance, you can actually see in the vehicle, some of the cars that are opening doors, opening bonnets, opening boots, like that. PJ's holding up there. I find, even though they weren't done at the factory so much, I'm not a great lover of chrome engines. When they I can understand why they did it, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just nice to play about with some of the features under the bonnet. Some of the engines under there don't even look like engines, to be honest with you. They're just a blob. But some of them are quite nice, and you can actually pick out little bits of detail. You can pick out the battery, the rocker cover, exhaust pipes. You can just make it look a little bit nicer underneath, and you can display it with the bonnet up. I tend to use a needle to display it with the bonnet up. I have drilled a hole on the inner wing and got a needle and bent it so it would fold down as a proper car bonnet support would do. It's a bit finicky. Door cards, if you've got your doors opening, you can you've got the keep it handles you can do, paint them up, and you can highlight if you've got the interior, you can paint it whatever color you want. If it's a decent interior, not so much these wishy-washy back form ones that they put in the cheaper corgis. They're really horrible interiors in them. If it's got a decent interior, you can paint it, and then you can put a bit of clear on it, and then you can use your Tamiya thin or a wash to highlight the pleats, like I did in the Toyota Land Cruiser. Steering wheel, and if the dashboard's got details, you can pick them out with a toothpick or whatever you want to do. It just gives you that little bit of extra. If it hasn't got a gear stick and you want to put one in, you could use you could use a needle with the ball on the end. That sort of thing. All little bits and pieces like that you can do. I find interesting to do if the car has got said details, or if you're one of those people who can print your own decals, you could print your own dashboard decals if you wanted to. If you had I know some of the minis have just got a flat dashboard, nothing on it at all. And if you could good at doing that, you could do one of those, or you can get a piece of veneer and cut it down, stick it on. You can buy that stick on Fablon, or we call it sticky back plastic, and you can put some holes in it, put a bit of black paint in there, stick it on your flat dashboard, and you've got your dials and your wood grain dash. It's all those little things. Aerials, wing aerials, roof aerials, you can done with a needle. Just do a little hole, put them in there. Stuff like this, I find you can do. A lot of people now are drilling out headlights and putting dual headlights in instead in the front. Stuff like this. So highlighting on the interior, I think it's good. That's how I go about it anyway. So I don't know how anybody else goes about it, but that's what I intend to use. And I hand brush it all inside anyway when I'm doing it. I find it easier to hand brush it, mix it up nice, and hand brush it in. But I think, like if you've got a broken window at the side, you can cut it down and make it to a half open window. It's stuff like this. It's all in the imagination. It's all depending on how far you want to go with it. That's basically it. You can even go to the point of putting the stuff that I do, what I showed you earlier on, you get pieces of material and you can put your own material on the seat. You can put a seat cushion in. You can put a blanket over if you've got a pickup truck, an old beat up pickup truck, you can put a blanket over the seats. You know, that sort of stuff. It's all in the imagination. So that's what I like to play about.
As soon as you, I'm just gonna jump to the chat. So Owen said PJ. Owen, hi Owen, how you doing, buddy? I'm not sure whether that's Mrs. Luke talking on behalf of Owen or Owen actually using Mrs. Luke's account. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what. Good evening to Mrs. Luke and to Owen. That's covered the bases. Good to see you both. Lindsay Sampson. Do we know a Lindsay Sampson? Is this a family night for you, Luke?
I'm going to say it's got to be the Sampson family show.
I don't know how to use that, Tally.
Right. We've been taken over. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, Lindsay. Now here we go. All the way from the United States of America is Jerry Monsegur. Good evening, Jerry.
Evening, Jerry.
Bye, Jerry.
All right, boy.
He's moving between. Well, he's recent. I don't know if his property move has completed, but he was moving from Queens to Texas.
Sorry, you kicked me off the channel.
No.
Sorry, gent, you kicked me off the channel to ask me my own.
How are you, mate?
I'm all right. Are you?
Yeah, we're all good. You stay in there, mate. You let him boss you about.
I'm in pajamas.
You can't see in the chat, mate.
Some coffee.
Yeah, coffee. Show me up.
Look at this, live. You don't get this. Steve,
You want to see what I wrote?
Get in the out.
You want to see what I wrote?
I hate her.
Fantastic.
No, you don't.
Would you like a coffee? Would you like me to rub your feet?
She does look after me.
He does look after you.
Yeah, she does.
She's as bad as Verna. You know, I'm ill in hospital, Martin, but would you like me to buy you a new model for your
Yeah.
It's bad. I've just got the
Yeah,
time.
I'll keep saying to you when you're going back, you know, but
I'm running stuff to do. Right. Wow, that threw me a curveball. Jerry, good to see you, my friend. JMO, I'm doing that very stuff now. Just painted the Speedos on my vet, then covered them in crystal clear for the glass.
yeah, nice. Yeah. Nice.
Saying hello to you all, and you're all amazing. Love your videos and all the hard work you put into something you all love. Well, thank you very much. That's much appreciated. Our good friend and taverner, Mr. Tony Hughes. Good evening, Tony. Guys.
Oh, evening, Tony. Long time no speak, mate.
Ian, Tony, thank you so much for becoming one of our patrons. We love you. It's much appreciated. We haven't seen you for a while, so I hope, assume, if you like, all's well. Take care, my friend. But hi to Merca. Oh, America. I'm trying to speak in a northern accent. I think there's only me that's qualified to do this between Southern England and Northern England. Translate. Hi, sweetie. Right. So there you go. So that's the chat caught on. Thanks, guys. Keep the chat going, for God's sake. It's good fun. Luke, we're going to talk highlights. How far do you go with your customization and your highlights?
I've got one to show you, so we're not too bad.
Thank God for that.
I tend to go for the chrome around the windows. I recently started adding the wing mirrors. You're not going to see that in there, but the interior or the carpet's black with red seats. You can't see it. And on them, they have golf clubs just in the back there. I don't know if you can see them. I just highlighted that a little bit, just to sort of pick it out. You can see when it's in your hand. And once I've painted the seats red, I went over them with a little bit of black wash, and they look like proper red leather seats. It looks lovely when you look through the window of the car. Again, on that, I just picked the badge out as well. And I think it's just little bits like that with the wheels, like them bits that Martin says. It just all adds. I think the wingman especially
definitely.
just adds to the obviously the detail of the car for highlighting. Now this one we were talking about the engine bay before, Martin. They just spray on chrome.
Yeah.
Now this is out the Mustang. What I'm doing with this, I've actually printed it off, but it's still in the printer. I've printed off a supercharger blower for it. So I'm going to cut the air filter out the middle of it, and I'm going to sit it in there, and then I'm going to detail it up so it should look quite nice sitting under the bonnet. That.
Yeah, very nice.
And I've got some exhaust pipes to sit on the end of at the back of the base plate. Quite nice when it's done.
Yeah. Are you going to drill? Are you going to drill through and then poke them through?
No, they'll sit flush against it, Martin, because I've tapered the end where they sit on there. I've tapered, so they're never going to glue on me. I was going to run the proper back box up through underneath, but I've just run out of time. But it still look okay. But I bought a load of piles for the exhaust. There's all sorts there. The old cherry bombs, big bore fours. There's all sorts in this file I've got. So yeah, it's going to be fun experimenting on different things.
He's worse than me. It's not just me. It doesn't. I bet he hasn't left that.
You're going off track, PJ.
Say again, sorry.
You're going off track slightly.
Yeah. I've gone down. I branched out, mate. I think you got it all.
Yeah, branching out. That's what it be you. Branching out.
It's depressing though, because I was saying to Mart off screen, if I knew what I'd known now, I'd have gone for the big. We said this. I was talking about this on the tavern on Friday night. I'd have gone for the bigger version.
Yeah.
The next brother up from the Anycubic.
You're doing a lot of printing with them, like the figures at the minute, PJ, aren't you? What I've found, I haven't come across anything that it won't print for a car at the moment.
No, for if you purely want one for doing spare parts, small things. But I was saying, my mum said, "What's that thing you've got for making models?" I said, "Well, I think you're on about my 3D print." She says, "Yeah, can you make me a bowl?" What kind of bowl? And it's called a yarn bowl. So it's like a soup bowl. You put a ball of wool in it, and there's a little cutout, and the thread comes through the side of the bowl, and the ball of wool will tumble within the bowl, you know. And apparently one of my mum's friends, her son's printed them and selling them for 15 quid a piece. I couldn't believe it. So there you go. It's amazing what we can do. But yeah, when we go to places like Stafford, you know, the old Action Men figures and things like that we see, to be able to print something that big, you'd need obviously the bigger build plate on the 3D printer. But we're going off track. So that would have been what I'd like to do. So yeah, highlights, ripping yarns. What can I add to highlights? The cocktail sticks are good for highlights. Martin's mentioned. I was going to say needles and pins, but that sounds like we should break out into song. Yeah. So, and the other thing is, of course, the paints that we can get now, the textured and technical paints that you can get.
Yeah.
So you can get the rust paints, you can get the leather paints, especially if you're doing like what do you call them? What they call the cars of yesteryear type vehicles, where they've got an open.
The older vehicles with the open seats where you can see the leather. Yeah,
or it's been folded back. The hood's been folded back using some
Dicky seat.
Yeah. Why don't you use a 3D printer to print a bigger printer? I never thought of that. Yeah, so the technical paints, the only reason I come across that term is because Citadel use a branch, one of their ranges called technical paints, and it's rust, and it's grit, and there's all different
chainmail and stuff like this, you know. There's all manner of things. I mean, you go back a few years ago, I've got a book here somewhere, I can't remember where it is now, and it was published in the early 80s, and it's like the Bible of modelling.
Hold that thought. Hello, Michael.
There he is.
Morning, Michael.
Hiya, Michael.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
There's a man who's shocked to find out what time it is.
Oh, it's only a quarter. It's only a quarter to 6 in the morning.
God bless you, Governor.
I think
That's
I'll
all right. I've got to get,
Hey,
got
proper
to get ready for
hardcore,
work. Getting ready for work, so I won't be on for
Getting
that
ready for
long.
work. Yes, because there's some. Yes, 'cause, yeah, we keep forgetting.
Monday
the time.
morning.
Yeah, Monday morning. I'll be leaving in about 45 minutes. So that's how long you've got me.
Well, you've got more commitment than Laz has. Let's put it that way. He's, you're here and he's not. Let's put it so.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, he misses out on a few times.
Yeah. So play ups. Good morning, Michael. Just Jerry. Hi, Michael. So you got your little you got fans giving you a big welcome there, mate. It's good to see you.
Oh, there you go.
Michael's broadband sometimes has a tendency to flicker, so please bear with it. Ian is saying, "Morning, Michael. Nice to see you. Great to chat this morning." So
Yes,
there you go.
yes, I am. Well, welcome to the group.
Yes, we're going to be doing this. Is going to probably shock Ian more than anybody else. We're going to be doing something like a Hully's Corner, I think, section of our videos. He is one of the most generous people I've come across ever. Not including our 4 friends online at the moment, because some of the generosity. I've never come across generosity like we've got in our community, which is quite bizarre for saying you're nearly 60 years old. I'm thinking, where's all the, it's not dead, in the days of the round table and stuff like that. And you think, where's all this generosity come from? Or perhaps more the point, where's it all gone? Because the generosity that we get within our group is incredible. So we're going to be giving... well, me particular this week, I'm going to be giving Ian a bit of a shout out on some of the things that he's donated, and perhaps some of the boys that have had stuff off. Ian could do things a little bit further down the line. Michael, we're talking about highlights and decals.
Yep.
So before we go to decals with Martin, how far with your vehicles do you go into did you go with highlighting?
Interiors and stuff like that. More.
Most of the time, it's usually a clean up. It depends on the vehicle itself.
Yeah.
Some I'll, like on a Jag or on a Rolls Royce, I'll try and do something different with them to, instead of just being white. I'll give them a colour that's close to what a real one would be. Like it's all of a tan for the Jags, the cream for the Rolls Royce, something like that. And on sports cars, usually a black.
Yeah, cool. Good. And there's also number plates as well. There's another thing that I like to try and put on if I can.
Yeah.
If I can try and get them, I'm doing this road. I've still got it written on there now. G, F, and D. They're the prefix numbers on the older road. I go through Google Images and I'm looking for the car and I'm checking out number plates and stuff like this.
Jerry's saying, are you the same Aussie that eats hot chilies dipped in chili oil?
No.
But it's probably something they'd experiment with if we asked him.
very much so.
Bless him, he's got up at ridiculous o'clock to join us, so God love him. So we're looking at decals next. Mark, if you want to kick us off with your origins with decals and
yeah,
how you go about it.
Well, I tend to, obviously, I don't print my own decals, but recently Andy Bourne from Andy's Diecast Garage Restoration, if I got that right, he's been doing quite a few decals for me recently. I'm waiting for a package to arrive. A lot of Matchbox, small Matchbox decals. Yeah, so I get mine off the internet, like most people do. The two main people are Black Square. Well, a lot of people use Black Square, and there's another guy called Dinky Spares. I think it goes under the name of Dinky Spares on eBay, but his banner is Cliff. You'll see it come out as Cliff. The two differences between those two is that the Dinky Spares will actually are pre-cut decals. They don't need to be cut around. They're sufficient round, and the Black Square don't cut round their decals. So there is a difference there. So shop around on the internet, because there are other sellers who do sell decals on there, on some of stickers, and there's a mixture between stickers. I bought some for the Corgi ice cream van, the little Ford Thames ice cream van, the Angular, well, you know it, and that came in stickers and decals, so that's okay. The thing with applying the decals, always apply them on a gloss surface if you can, a shiny surface, you know, not necessarily a lacquer surface, but one that if you just painted it, it's got a shine to it. That helps it move around. If you try and do it on a matte surface, it will just grip the decal completely, and you'll probably rip it, tear it, and it will damage it. So that's a given. You've got to put it on the gloss surface, really, and then you can lacquer over it when you've done your final positioning and stuff like this. And I try to cut them out. If they're bought decals, I'll cut them out as close as I can to the actual picture, which is not easy when you get a lot of word in. So you've got to try and keep as close as you can, because sometimes if you've got a salvage truck and it's got a big decal on it, and if you don't get it cut close enough, you will see, in some cases, not all cases, you will see the backing. You'll see the blank piece, you know, that you haven't cut round. So if you can get as close as you can, then it's always going to look that little bit better. So there's that, and I always tend to. I've learned the hard way. When you're using the water, you can either use distilled water, which is not so bad for decals because it hasn't got the chemicals in it. But if you're just using ordinary tap water, I did make the mistake of having it too hot at times, and it's completely shriveled up the decal to the point of it's unusable. So you need your water to be lukewarm. What I tend to do if I'm doing a lot of decals, and I learned this from doing scale modeling, you know, when you buy a Chinese takeaway, have a Chinese takeaway, sometimes you get you've got at home, used to buy them, and they had little tea light candles underneath to keep your food hot. Yeah. Well, I've got that. What I do is I use a sardine tin with your fish in it. You know, you take your fish out, obviously, and then just put a bit of water in that and put a tea light over a tea light can, and that keeps that water lukewarm and not too hot. So I can keep your decals, because if you're doing a lot of decals, the water soon gets cold. You know what I mean? So I keep it warm, lukewarm. Drop your decal in. Sometimes you'll get to know whatever company you're using decals from, how quickly they'll separate from the backing paper. Because you don't really want your decal floating around in the water and you're trying to pick it up with a pair of tweezers and it's going all over the place. It's folding over, it's getting the ends curled up, and you're thinking, you're getting frustrated and you want to just. So I tend to put it in for a little while, flip it on its back, because it'll curl otherwise. The first thing I like to do is decals will curl. Is flip it over on its back, dip it in a little bit. Some people use a sponge. Put the sponge in the water so you can lay your decal on top of the sponge. That's all good. You can do that as well. Get it out while it's still not necessarily floating, but it's slowly coming off. And I leave it on the flat surface, and then it's there, and I can just keep testing it, make sure it's releasing itself, and then I'll pick it up and I'll put it on. That's how I start doing mine. Put a little bit of water on the vehicle or the lorry side, the tanker side, or whatever you're doing, and then just carefully position it best you can. And then you're always going to have to reposition when you get it on. You know, I mean, you slide the backing paper, get it on you where you want it. You're going to move it, whether you move it with a cocktail stick. Don't use a pair of tweezers to move it though, because you will scratch it, rip it, tear it. See, a cocktail stick or a cotton bud, or even sometimes use the paintbrush, the short haired paintbrush, which is, you know, so it's not too flexible, and just move position. And it's a bit of a hit and miss game, really, because I can't really say the perfect way of doing it, because I've made so many mistakes with decals, even on camera. Double-decker buses, rip decals, stuff like this. But it's a case of trying to get your position right, dab it, get as much of the water away as you can before you start rolling it and sliding it along. People have their different techniques to do it, but I find if I just soak it up the excess water with a bit of kitchen roll and then just gently go along with a cotton bud or a brush to squeeze what air you can out of it, because you will get it in there. And if you've got air bubbles in, it will, when it dries, you'll notice it. So just squeeze as much air out as you can, gently though, because you can tear it. The longer and thinner the decal, the more chance it's going to snap and it's going to tear. But after that, if it's on a curved surface, like on the tankers here, or it's on a curved surface, then it's good to get some of that micro set, which is in the red bottle with the red writing on it. There's micro set and micro salt.
Yeah.
Micro salt is more of a fixer. That helps it stabilize it, but the red stuff is hotter, and if you put that on, really you're not really supposed to touch it after you put it on, because what that does, it heats up the decal and softens it. And what it looked really crinkled, you think, oh no, look, I've done with that. It's like, you know, horrible. But then it will just dry out and suck in. And the idea is it softens it up to the point that it will suck it into the curves. Yeah. And a classic example, JMO, if he's watching, he'll know what I mean. If you do that on an aircraft, which has got the panel lines, sunken panel lines, you do that. And you put, for instance, say you put the insignia on the side, whether it be swastika or whether it be, oops, can't say that, or American flag or something like that. Then that micro set will suck that down into the lines. So when you look at it, you can see the lines through the decal. That's the idea. And then after that, you lacquer over it. You know, I mean, I use both methods. Sometimes I'll put the decals on after the lacquer and have done with that. Or if it's got a big decal and I'll use the micro set, then I'll lacquer over top.
Yep.
You know, that's how I do things anyway. It's not necessarily the right way, and a lot of people do it differently, but that's how I approach mine.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go to Michael next, because bless him, we don't know how long we've got him for, and he may have to shoot off. So
Michael,
decal.
You've got me for 45 minutes.
Okay. Right. So what's your preference with decals, my friend? How do you go about it?
I don't do that many decals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all, again, depends on the vehicle. I've bought some in the past. A few from eBay. Sideways Kings. He used to be really good.
Yeah.
I think he's still out there. Black Square is highly recommended. The other places they can be a hit and a miss. Clifford's stuff is good. Martin knows Cliff. In that sense, number plates, I'll put them on if I remember, or so if when I look at a vehicle that I'm doing after looking at Google Images like Martin, I'll try and replicate the number plate that's on the car that giving me that inspiration.
Okay.
I'm finding it rather strange in here that in the StreamYard app, I'm only seeing myself move and you three are frozen, and I've got the YouTube channel open up on the phone so I can see everybody move their lips.
You're splitting your signal too much, mate. That's the problem. So just jumping into the just jumping into the chat. Good evening to our good friend and fellow taverner, DMC member Kevin. How are you, mate? Good to see you.
Kevin, is that Mr. Banger Racer himself? All right, Kevin.
Well, it ought to be Kev's Jaguar Banger Racers.
No. Be having that. I had to sit through him destroying a 1/18 scale Mark II Jag, and the tears were running down my. I was so upset.
The good thing about our virtual tavern is that Martin can't slap Kevin because they're not in the same room. It's a virtual thing.
I was heading for the knife draw, But, but Kevin, that turned out really nice. It looked good, mate. Well done for that. But Andy beat me to getting the spare parts. I'll work with Andy when I see him.
Yeah. I've mentioned this multiple times, but Kev is great at because of the nature of the vehicles that Kevin does. He ends up with a lot of spare parts, and he is one of our great donators of spare parts because of what he's got left over. And we love the stuff that he's done. And the times that he gives the DMC a shout out on the side of his vehicles that he does is fantastic. I noticed that. It hasn't gone without. It hasn't not been noticed, Kev. Bless you, Jerry. Jessica, else the decals. Sorry, step back once. My decal tip: I use water with a drop of soap in it. One drop of washing up soap per gallon. So I take it, Jerry, you've got a bottle of or a gallon of liquid ready to go to use.
Yeah.
I have better. Yeah.
I have heard that. Yeah. Yeah. Good tip, Jerry.
Kev saying sometimes my decals won't unstick from the backing paper. Followed up with yes, it's me. Thank you for your comment on that, Jag. I don't know about I've never come across the not unsticking. The only thing I can think of is old decals or.
Well, it depends what decals Kev's using. If he's using Andy's decals, it might need to. He needs to soak them a little bit longer.
Before I jump in and go completely off kilter with this decal thing, I'll let Luke go next. Buddy, how do you go with your decals? Are you a purchaser? Are you an own maker?
Purchaser, and obviously Andy Bourne, top bloke. He sends me the stuff I need. Yeah. Now, I probably count on one hand how many times I've actually used them. I watched Martin's videos a few times when he's been doing decals. I think I put some on an RS Turbo that I did the Series 1. I think it was the last time I used it. I think they were from Clifford's that I bought for the Bedford Pullmore, the Dinky transporter. Now, I had no problem fitting them. The only thing I didn't lack over them. So I fitted them against the lacquer and left them, but they dried spot on. But we were talking about this on Friday night in the tavern. When I do this general Lee build, the decals I've got for that I want to lacquer over them. But with the paints I use, especially with the 2K thinners, it eats up plastic, especially if you're spraying cars, plastic bumpers, anything like that. It just melts them. So I've ordered another set of decals the other day. Hopefully I'll get them next week. I'm going to have a bit of a trial run with them, see how it goes on. If it does eat the decals up when I put the lacquer over, then I'll just have to lacquer the car and put them on top and then leave it as it is. But like I say, I haven't had a lot of experience with decals really, but that's where I stand on it anyway.
But if your decals, Luke, are thin enough, because at one point decals years ago used to be quite thick, like the old Airfix ones and the Airfix kits used to be quite thick and the Revel. But now, depending where you're getting them from, I think you remember saying you were getting from Italy, weren't you, or something like that?
Yeah, these ones have come from there, yeah.
Yeah, you'll find that they're quite thin. So if you do lay them over the top of your lacquer, then they will look okay. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't get that ridge around the edge. Yeah, because if they're thicker ones, you'll get a little ridge around the outer edge where it's sitting on top of the lacquer rather than lacquer sitting over the top of that. So I think the thinner, you'll know as soon as you get them. If you cut a piece off, if you cut an insignificant one off and put it in the water, you'll see how thin it really is. Yeah, and then in that way you'll know what you're going to do with it.
What they're going to do with it.
Yeah. That's where the microsol or the micro set will come in.
Yeah.
It softens those edges up. Sort of if you put it on.
Yeah.
On top.
Well, that actually strengthens what Luke was saying about his hot lacquer that he uses, because that the red microsol actually softens the decal to the point of, virtually thinning it and heating it up that much. It softens it. So in that way, I think you'll find your 2K lacquer will probably do exactly the same thing. It might be prudent to what you do. You put your if we try the test bed, is put your decals on and just give it a real thin, coat of lacquer.
Yeah, just like a trap go first. Yeah,
just barely touch it and see the reaction, and you might get away with it because that will seal it. And then once that decal's sealed and protected, further coats will probably be okay.
Yeah,
don't know. It's worth a try. You got to try, ain't you? Don't know.
Someone I'm holding my breath on at the moment. Like I said, I'm not going to do now till these other decals come. They should be here towards the end of next week. But I'm hoping to start the generally build probably about 2 weeks.
You look forward to
it. Yeah, it should be nice when it's done.
Can I ask you, Luke? We talked about the general. I mean, I can't wait to see this General Lee build. Because it's a larger model, isn't it? It's not a 143 scale. It's
124, I think it is.
Yeah, it's the yeah. So you sent off for these decals.
Yeah.
From Italy, if picking up on Mark was saying, what without going into your bank account details, obviously, did you find them a reasonable price? Were they expensive? Were they cheap?
If I remember off the top of my head, PJ, I think they were about £8, and I think there's only about £3 postage.
Right, so ballpark figure, about let's call it
£11. Yeah,
let's call it tenner for argument's sake.
Yeah.
Did you get a spare set with that, or if it goes south, have you got to send for another set?
No.
Okay.
That's why I've ordered this other set now. I'm going to use this set I've got here, or whichever comes. That's going to be the test with the clear coat that I'm using. I'll fit into a model that I've got and just see what happens. But I'll know then what I need to do. If I can't lacquer over them.
What you got to remember, PJ, is that Luke's missus is listening, so the price is going to be a little bit lower than it really is.
I thought I might have never cottoned on to that.
Yeah. I tell you what, Luke, what might be an idea. In them model kits that I gave to Owen, he might have, because they usually do multiple decals in there, right? If you could snag a round or a something off one of them kits, stick it on a bit of round plastic I've painted and try that, yeah, and you'll see what your stuff does. You never know.
Yeah, I'll try that, mine. A good idea, that, mate.
Yeah.
I'll have a nose.
You have a nose. Did you? Oh, you didn't send me. You didn't send me a clear? Did when you give me that white? Did you give me a clear with it?
No, I didn't, mate. No.
It was a primer, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm going to say I could try it. Yeah, so you do that, try that, and then you'll know one way or the other, won't you?
You know what, man? I think I might have done in a can spray.
Yeah. You give me 2 cans. You give me the white. You give me a white, and there was another can with it as well. I'll have a look.
Yeah, I think it was, mate. Clear. You had a clear off me. I'm sure you did.
Yeah, and is that the same as what you use?
I think it is, Martin. Yeah, I think it's 2K in a wrap account.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'm just going to pick up on the if I may just interrupt for a sec. There's some strange Hungarian chap in the chat, bizarrely saying, "Sorry, I couldn't make it tonight, boys."
He's on now, isn't he?
Oh,
yeah, you're on now. get yourself in here. Sorry, I couldn't make it tonight. Well, yes, you can because you're in the chat. Well, you can make it on here.
No excuse.
Well, there's no excuse, really. No excuse whatsoever. Laz.
You know what it is? Do you know what it is, don't you? Because I did a majorette the other week and he's upsetting me.
He's upset as it. We'll only have an argument about who's got the best paint finish. So that's why he's done a runner. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope, hope the family's well. I hope the family's well. I hope the half's well. I hope the dog's well. I think that's covered all the bases. Yes, it has. You missed, mate. So if you want to come and jump online with us, you are more than welcome. Jerry, my good friend Jerry. I have old decals. They tend to split. What would be a way to prevent the splitting? Oh, good question.
You can read. You could. Yeah, you can.
If they're old decals, no, nothing to do with that.
If they're old decals, Jerry, if they're really old decals, if they've yellowed, you can try and put them in. Well, you're in the right place in Texas. Stick them in the window for a couple of days. That'll take the yellowing out. And if they're cracking, you could try putting another layer of lacquer on it to what's already on. Yeah. I mean, some decals, if they're that old, in some of the model kits or some of the kits you get that old, they just deteriorate over time, and there's nothing you can do about it. They will just fall apart on you. And as soon as you put it in the water, it will just disintegrate. That's the old. If it's an old decal, it's probably the old method of doing it, the old printing and stuff like this. But to try it, if it's yellowed, stick it in the window for a little while and just try a coat of lacquer over the top. You never know, and try it that way and see what happens. That's all you can do, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, basically, if you got something that's perishable, I mean, this is me talking as a comic book collector. Keep it dark. Keep it somewhere dark where nobody can see it in the recesses of your house. Nobody knows what collection you've got. But light is the killer. That's what's going to do the damage.
Yeah.
We
also the
resin and stuff like that.
Yeah. Also the print they used to use years ago before they had inkjet printers and stuff like that. It was mostly screen. A lot of it was screen printed on with the old printing method with the screen printing. So yeah, they will deteriorate, dry out, and they'll start to crack. Sorry, Jerry, for being a bearer of bad news, mate, but you've got to try it.
So I'll stick my 2 pence worth in. That might become 10 pence worth. I started to do my own decals. Cheers, PJ. Let you carry on. I'll be in next time. No worries, buddy. You take care.
See you later, lads.
We'll see you next week. Next. Well, actually, fortnight's time. We've got a guest. So hopefully it all pans out. I'll tell you about that in a short while. Jerry says, "Okay, give it a try, Martin. No worries. No problem, Jerry."
I'll nip over and show you. Right? Yeah. Send me a ticket and I'll nip over and I'll be doing it. Go in Texas.
Texas, just south of Peterborough. Yeah, that's
yeah. As the Land Rover flies, yeah, be there in no time.
Bottom half of the M25, apparently. I don't know how true it is.
Just past Southern Ireland. Yeah.
So I had to go at making my own decals, and with some success, like Andy. But there are different reactions. If you do this stuff yourself, there are different reactions you can expect. If you use an inkjet printer, just your normal office printer, and you buy the paper off the decal paper offline, which is anything between £10 and £20 per 10 sheets. It's quite expensive. With the inkjet printer, it can tend to bleed. So I did Martin a set of Capri decals that turned out quite nicely, as it happens at the time. But what I would say is, my advice is cut the decals out and then lacquer them, because what you're trying to do with printed decals, the DeskJet printed decals, is to seal the edges of the decal before it goes onto your vehicle. Some people have said, well, just spray the A4 sheet of your decals. Well, that's great. That covers the surface, but it will not cover the edges when it's cut out. So that's where the water can get in and create the bleeding on the ink. My other advice with the DeskJet decals is, if you're going to do them, leave them a good couple of weeks before you use them. Let them dry out, let them settle down, let them, and 3 or 4 coats of lacquer in between. Now with the laser one, so I started off doing DeskJet ones, and then I brought a laser printer, which was X number of pounds. The decal paper was about the same price, but you didn't have to apply so much lacquer to those. Apparently, they were supposed to be able to come off, and you could use them pretty much straight away. I went down the route of printing them off and still give them a couple of coats of lacquer. But the problem I got was that nobody tells you what printer to buy. Michael's going to smile in a minute because he's now had other experiences with this. But nobody tells you to buy. If you do searching for what printer should I use for decal paper, you'll get nothing. No advice whatsoever, really. So you'll buy your LaserJet printer and then find out the bloody paper won't go through it. And what happened to me was I brought a LaserJet printer and the decal paper warmed up so much it went round the drum of the LaserJet printer. And to replace the, can I remember saying to you, Mark, that it had packed up? Yeah. And to replace the drum, it was 80 quid. And then bugger me, I got a replacement and did the damn same thing again. So I've gone back to doing DeskJet decals, same as Andy's doing. And they still work out well, but you've got to have a good printer. You want a photo printer at the very least to be able to do them. And more often than not, if you want to customize a vehicle, you won't always be able to get them decals off eBay or Steve Flowers or etc. etc. You might want to create your own. So the way that I do it is I'll find a really good Google image. Hopefully somebody's had the smarts to take a photo of a vehicle flat on, not just a slope, because that causes all kinds of problems. Remember the Capri, Michael, with the glowworm?
How many photographs will be sending PJ tons of photos?
Yeah, we've gone through hell and high water just to try and get a flat image of somebody. The glowworm, if anybody knows what we're talking about, there's a glowworm icon on the bonnet of the Capri, and people always take it from an angle. They'll not take a shot down that's flat that you can manipulate by downloading it. So anyway, the point being, get yourself a damn good image, incorporate it into some kind of graphic software where you can tidy it up, cut the edges, fill in any blanks. Then what I do is save that image, open up Microsoft Word, find a shape that's relevant, and fit the icon to the shape. I don't fit the shape to the incorporate like a rectangle, and you can change the properties of the rectangle, and you can say fill it with a file, and that file will be the image that I've saved. So it would be the glowworm would fit inside a rectangle, and that helps to scale it as well. So it can be a royal pain in the backside, but then what extremes do we want to go to do these vehicles? We talked about highlights and decals. As soon we've talked, I've heard people talking about code 3, but as soon as you crack that nut, as soon as you split that post, it becomes less than it was before. So you might as well do what you want to it. You're going to put a screw in it, or you're going to put false coverings on it when you put it all back together. It's not the same as it was before. As much as we try to get it there, some of us like to get them there as close as we can. Me, I like to do something called ruin to refresh. So it might be completely different from what I started with. But this is all about the customization as well.
Yeah.
Ian is saying, don't try putting decals on a model of Mr. Blobby as you'll end up with a crinkly bottom. Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
Get your hat, get your coat, exit stage left.
Yeah.
Talk about
Yeah.
a dad joke. Laz saying, wow, £322. Oh, it's gone up another £20. So, sorry, I didn't know that, Laz. It's gone up another £20. £322 on the Paint It Blue event. Amazing.
Well done, everyone.
I'm gonna please carry on waffling while I just double check.
No, that's good. No, the decals.
Wow, yes, absolutely.
The decals are good if you can get them right. They're nice, but a lot of people are doing the like Andy does, the inkjet ones, and my advice is just give another coat of lacquer. Even though some people who like Andy, he puts lacquer on it anyway, but it's always nice to put another coat or two on top. It doesn't hurt it. Doesn't hurt at all. And believe it or not, you can actually sand a decal down if you once you've lacquered it. Once you've lacquered it, if you put it on your model and you've lacquered over the top. I mean, let me just tell you, grab this as a demo. If you put it on like that, that's lacquered over the top. And if you find there's still a little bit of a ridge, you can wet and dry, right, with a really like 2000, something like that, and you can just smooth that. You can just smooth that out, and it won't do any damage. It's been done before. You can do that.
So do you lacquer twice over that then, Martin? You lacquer it then?
Yeah. What I do with when I put the on here.
Yeah.
I use that's a gloss white, is it? You've used first of all, and then lacquer.
That's gloss white. Yeah. And what I've done here is I lacquered it, just a coat of lacquer on it, just a nice light coat, enough to make it smooth. Because don't forget the gloss underneath that's smooth anyway. So a little bit of lacquer on top, just to seal it all in. Then I put my decal on, and then I give it another light coat, just to seal the decal in. Let that dry off a bit, and then carry on with normal spraying. Yeah. And then if you find you've got a couple of coats, I normally put about 2 coats of lacquer on mine. And then you can, if you feel like a ridge in it and you want to smooth it down, you can get a bit of wet and dry and just smooth it down. It's got to be really, really 2000 plus, you know.
Have you had any trouble with them crinkling up on you, Martin, with the paint you're using?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending how thin the decal is, to be honest with you, Luke. If it's a really thin decal, because some of the decals I've had in the past, you'll soon know as soon as it comes off that backing paper how thin it really is. You know, and you think, and you have like you have a little bit of a twingy moment, and you're trying to maneuver it. And when you, like I did on Double Decker Bus, I mean that was so thin that as soon as I tried to move it, it would start to stretch, and you knew it was going. And sometimes they'll crinkle up on you, but there again depends. If you leave it too long in the water and it's floating about, it's more tendency to like it'll flip over and it'll fold a corner over. And once the corner's folded over and you're trying to lift that to drag that corner out again, that's when you start getting into dangerous ground, because you could, you think I just want to just lift that with this cocktail stick and just put a brush underneath it and I just smooth that and then bang, it's gone. You know. So if you leave it on the backing paper as long as you can, and then just slide it off.
This is the reason why I kind of asked you for a costing on those Italian decals. The reason I'm asking is, the reason behind that was if you're able to, and it's an investment to do your own decals. You've got to buy a printer, you've got to buy the paper, But what you can do is print multiple sets of the same decal. I mean, Martin said to me, I know I keep hopping about this Capri light, but Martin said, well, why don't you print numerous sets while you're doing one and flog them for £1 a piece or whatever,
Yeah, there's always somebody.
We just share them out. We just share stuff out.
But
it does give you the opportunity to print that extra set. And while I thought about it, did you say you'd ordered 2 sets?
I ordered another set. Was it Saturday morning? Yesterday morning, yeah.
May I make a suggestion? It's not going to help you any, like. Make a suggestion. If you don't use the second set, we can scan them and create a set. So even if it all goes, if we scan them before you use your second set, if the first set goes south, if that makes sense.
Well, if I send you the picture square on, you'll be all right with that, won't you?
Yeah.
I'll do that then.
But that's the way to get around it on eBay to stop you doing it.
So PJ didn't we a couple of weeks ago about getting a printer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like whether to do it. Like you've only got a text handy and he's straight on it, so I don't know what I'm putting out of work.
You're like that with the printer. I'm like that with the 3D scanner. You know, it's all about between us. We've tried everything there is. I mean, most of it's Michael's fault, to be honest, because he's brought everything. It's like Breaking Bad whenever we watch. But I was saying to Martin earlier on, I was talking about what have you done this week? We were talking off screen, and he said, "Well, you've got to enjoy what you're doing." At the minute, I'm really enjoying doing the 3D printing. And he said, well, why don't you concentrate on doing that? And then intermittently do the monthly challenges, you know, so that you can show, because the DMC is, when we started, that sounded a bit selfish. When we started it, it's not just diecast, it's diecast and modelers community. So just what kind of models you do. 3D printing is a new thing, but it was to encompass wooden models, Lego models,
plastic kits,
fixed kits, revel kits, you name it. It's a broad church, as the politicians like to use that phrase. It's a broad church. We like everybody to show us what they've been doing, within reason. Obviously, it's a family show, and we like to be able to show people's work in the galleries. That's why the challenges are generic, that you can do a plastic kit, a die-cast kit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've done a few. So, Luke, that's no excuse. Fellow in, do the model kit, put it on DMC.
That's all, isn't it? Yeah. He's worried about it's not good enough, Martin. I said, I mean, you can't be about it. Like, he's not done it before. And you know what? He gets stuck in. He's used to be spraying stuff a few times to spray them. You know what? He's not bad. He's getting there.
I've got a better challenge.
I'll go for one.
What you need to do, Luke, it's Lindsay, isn't it? Your other
Well, you
tell Lindsay if she wants to appear on screen again, she's got to do her own model kit.
Yeah, okay, I'll sell it.
Or a die-cast vehicle. But if you ever find out that you sprayed it for her, that's just cheaper. Right.
Yeah, but that's a brave challenge.
Back to the chat. Play apps. Thanks for the warning on laser decal paper. The only thing I'll add to that is...
Oh, he's frozen.
Who's frozen?
Something's going on here.
No, we're all good.
What's going on here? He's frozen.
Is everybody else frozen? No, we're all good. No, it's just Mr. D. Are you back with us, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. I just went all every started going wappy, but it all went up.
It's him. Right. Thanks for the warning on the laser decal paper. I don't necessarily think. How do I put it? It's a chance. It's a chance you take a lot with a lot of the stuff that we do. The tools that we use, the paints, etc.
All going again.
It's a chance you take.
It's all going again.
It's just waffling on behind us, isn't it? It's like,
all going again. It's all going again.
You're giving.
Stand on one foot, Martin. Hold your phone in the air.
Hold your hand in the air. Stand on.
I can see. It went all. I could see Luke's eyes going up and down. I thought, well, there's something's going on here.
Oh, that's what darling.
Yeah. It's that time
it's
of night.
The only that we have problems with, not bloody somebody that lives in Peterborough. Oh,
yeah. I don't know. Right. You know, these rural areas, mate. All they do is got a sheet go past, mate, and that's had it, isn't it?
You have to move to Swan. That's the only thing we've got going for is a decent broadband. The house is crap, but the broadband's all right.
But what I'll do, I'll come up, I'll park outside your house, and next
Yeah.
next
We are
live stream, I'll be
having a get together soon, so I'm really looking forward to that.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Thanks for warning on the decal paper. So what I was going to say with that was, it may not necessarily be the decal paper. It may be the printer that you're using, but you're not. If anybody finds a printer that is less than £200, and well, excuse me, I think it's less than 250, because I think the one that I got was 220. Michael's. I'll come back to you, Michael. I had an HP 150, and I think Tony. I don't know whether Tony's still in the chat. He had the same one, and initially it was fine, but then I had all these wrapping around problems. Michael,
I was going to say that decal, depending on where you get your decal paper from, can be an issue, and also thickness. Just like your ordinary printing paper, can depend on your thickness that you've got. Now, when I first started doing my own decals, I was just using a black and white laser printer, and that was a Dell, and I didn't have any issues with that. I've now bought an Oki color laser printer, which is secondhand, wasn't new, it was secondhand. I haven't had any issues with that either.
Good.
Yeah, so that's
going to be whilst that's good, that's going to be an availability issue, whether you can get one second hand or not, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So again, I just went off at eBay for the colour one, and I always bought. And I'm always looking for, when I look at printers, whether it be for decals or just the office one, when I'm looking at lasers, I try and get the ones when you change the cartridges, it changes the drum at the same time. Not just the one, not just the one drum for the whole thing.
There's also another concern about the ghost cartridges. If you want to be able to if you want to be able to print white, you need a special cartridge. There's only one company I know of that make them, and they are extortionate in their price for doing white printing, because your printer by default doesn't print white. The only way you can get around it really is to print on white decal paper and with a black outline to do the writing. Michael, is that fair to say?
So from like you can get the ghost cartridge for the Oki, but also there's a lot of stuff out there in the forums that if you can buy an empty cartridge that goes into the black toner, right? Yeah. You can put your white powder in there, and then you can make your own ghost cartridge.
It all becomes a bit messy, and it depends like with everything else. It depends how far you want to go and how much you want to invest. I mean, we've gone from the days from 4 years ago where, when I started, you go into your shed and find what tools you could possibly do to do filing and stuff like that, to the nth degree of 3D printers and.
Well, it's like everything. It's trial and error, and then you once you've found a way, you try and find another way to improve it.
Like I want a bigger 3D printer. Anyway, Jerry's saying Epson inks are supposed to be the best for inkjet printers. I can't deny, or possibly so. Yeah.
I think with the Epson printers, if you cast your mind back, I don't know if you remember Corgi Bob. I think he had an Epson printer, and we had the continuous ink system where he didn't have to go out and buy cartridges. They came in big, so it sort of continuously filled itself. Yeah, that seemed to work well.
Yeah, it was like a scene from an hospital where it was being bottle fed on a pipe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Intravenous
Yeah.
drip is the word. Yeah,
That's the one. That's the kick it. Yeah,
That's the
that's the
ticket.
ticket.
Yeah. Right. Any more, boys, for highlights or decals that we've? If anybody's got any questions, please ask. Please ask. We
Yeah.
say that we've covered everything. We may have missed something.
It was only a short one this week, but because we're
we're kind of running out. We're getting to the point where we're running out of topics. But fortunately, next week not next week, but in 2 weeks' time,
week after.
I'm in touch with Mark from Matchbox Mark. So hopefully Mark will be joining us. I've got to touch base with him next week via video chat because he's based in America. See if I can get the chat up and running, and then we'll invite him to do an interview with us. So that'll be good because we've had Ron from his group online before, and Mark Dandridge. It'll be great to get Mark on board.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Please bear in mind, if you please ask questions. Please suggest topics. Please suggest anything, really. It keeps us going. We can't just sit here and sit online, and it'll be a bit boring if you're just looking at the four of us or five of us, depending if Lads is online. Timu, another bleeding Canadian, cuts out a piece of plain white decal paper to back up a clear decal.
Yeah. It works. Yeah.
So I'm gonna do Holly's Corner. We'll call it Holly's Corner. If you're still there, Ian, don't try putting decals on a model. Yeah. Just give us a shout out, Ian, if you're still with us. If you're still in the chat, that'd be good.
Well,
might take a few seconds.
Gentlemen, I have to go. Otherwise, it's for me.
God bless you.
No, we can't be having you losing your job, Michael.
No,
Michael,
I can't afford it.
Thanks for stepping in, Michael. We appreciate it, mate.
Right.
We love you to
Michael.
We appreciate
just before I go, regarding that 3D scanner, PJ, if you want to jump onto it, do it. But I'll warn you now, on your computer, you need to have a NVIDIA video card for it to work.
It's funny you should say that. Boom. Just so happens. I'm an NVIDIA I've got an NVIDIA graphics card. Look, you drive safe. Have a good day. And if we
all right, gentlemen, it was fun.
See you, Michael.
Right, see you later, Michael. See you Friday.
Yep.
Take care, my friend.
Yep. Just got to get out of here.
We'll give him a moment. There you go. Right.
Yeah, bless him.
Now, we'll call this Holly's Corner because I'll start it off this week on this episode. One of our biggest benefactors, contributors, call it what you will, patrons, is Mr. Holly, who has contributed so much stuff to YouTube restorers, including Bob from Corgi Bob, me, Martin, Luke,
Nick, crap old Nick.
We had a meet up at Stafford, and Ian had kindly sent a box of. It was almost like when I was a kid, you used to get an harvest basket that you put together, and you take round to the OAPs, and Ian had sent us our very own harvest basket, and we demolished it. So there was paintbrushes and I don't mean demolished in a bad way, Ian. It was everybody's going, oh, I'll have that, and I'll have this and that and that. Anyway, I've spoken to Ian offline. Fortunately, he was able to join us in the Taverners chat on Friday, and it was great to have him there. So we've enabled him to do a bit of video conferencing and voice chat and stuff like that, so that we can thank him personally. Ian showed me around virtually showed me around his house, and I was like a kid in a candy shop, because a lot of the stuff that Ian had got was Jerry Anderson stuff, and he knows that I'm a Batman stroke Jerry Anderson nut, and some of the stuff. I'll show you a few items that Ian sent me. But what I'd first like to do is to show you. Ian doesn't do restoring anymore, but he used to do. So I'd like to show you something that Ian's done in the past. Now, this is the Mercedes-Benz 600 128 from Dinky Toys. And first of all, I'm going to show you the box because Ian did the box, which looks, I know a lot of people do these restoration boxes. Ian, for your information, I saw somebody selling these recently on Facebook. £9 a box. £9 a box. Sorry. I'm going to swap over to that. I'm trying to keep two things going at once. How is Corgi Bob? Anyone know? I'll come back to that in a minute, Jerry. Jerry's just saying, so long to all. See you Friday if not too busy. Bye, mates. You take care, my friend. I hope things are going well. Love you loads. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Cheers, Jerry. Take it easy,
See you,
mate.
Jerry. Oh, pal.
In answer to other Jerry's question, we've touched base. Several of us have touched base with Bob. We know that he had his wife suffered from an illness. Martin.
Yeah, one or two people have asked him, and I think he's very. At the moment, he's away from the bench. Whether he'll come back, I don't know. I know that his wife was really bad. I mean, if you followed him in his early days, you'll notice that she had a fall and she was pretty ill. She was hospital for a long time. She had operation on her spine and so on and so forth. So I think that Bob was spending a lot more time with her, looking after his wife, which you're going to do, aren't you? So hopefully in the future he'll come back. But I don't like to impose on people if battering the guy with emails is not the way to go. He knows people are missing him. I did notice he commented on one of Nick's videos a while back, so he's still around. So hopefully we'll see him again.
We did reach out to him to ask him if he wanted to join not do videos, but join the DMC page, but he's not into Facebook, so that's fair. We've reached out to a few of the other YouTubers that they like doing their own private thing, and you got to respect that. I don't hold anything against them. If they don't enjoy, if they don't do what we do, that's fine. You can't think any less of them. They've inspired a lot of us, and we should, and that's the way you should look at it, and leave it at that. So anyway, I digress. So that's about it. We don't know anything cast in stone, Mark, do we? We just surmise to a certain extent with Bob. No,
we just do our thing. We try to keep it relaxed and just so he's having fun,
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, enjoying ourselves, and coming on here live is, it's just a way of just chatting to everybody who wants to have a chat, ask questions. If you want to ask anything, I mean, we're not professionals, obviously, you know that. You're probably better than some of us. Anyway, there's a lot of guys out there who are way, way, way farther forward than we are at the moment. So, we're just doing it.
I want to put this down as soon as possible. I'm holding it in my hand, and I don't want my hands to start shaking. So this is a Mercedes that Ian's done. Can I put any shine on it?
That's better. That's better. You can see it better. You can see the colour.
We're talking where the front's opening.
Don't stop it.
Well done.
Yeah, really nice, mate.
It's got the figures inside as well. Ian sent me this. It will go back in its box, my friend. That's where it will stay.
Ian, what did you paint it with? Aerosols, airbrush, enamels, acrylics? What did you paint that with?
It's a good colour match too.
Yeah.
It's almost like the what do we call it? The Tango Red, Mark.
Yeah, very much so. That's a Dinky version, because Corgi one was slightly different shade to that, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's stunning. Stunning. We'll see if Ian responds. So, as I say, brings a bit of lump to my throat, to be honest. But anyway, when I was a kid, my favourite Jerry Anderson series. So let me respond because Ian's just high coat metallic spray can. Says Ian.
No.
Do you remember what the colour was, Ian? By any, what shade you was using, perchance?
There you go, red.
Yeah, it looks like the red, the Tango red. Anyway, when I was a kid, back in the 70s, one of my favourite shows, my favourite show was Jerry Anderson's UFO. I know you got your Thunderbirds and Tango Red, so yeah, I thought so. The reason you can tell it's the Tango Red, I'll just bring this up again before I waffle on. You can't pick it up. You might just be able to pick it up there. Can you see the gold?
I can see the fleck in it. Yeah.
You see the gold? Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get the
good
gold
colour,
fleck of the Tango Red.
Really good colour, that is.
Yeah. But you have to, as Mr. Dare advised me once, spray it very thinly.
Yeah.
Perhaps a couple of coats, 2-3 coats.
Yeah, a couple of thin coats, because the metal flake in them aerosol cans is quite big, and if you're not careful, if you go too quick with it, it will sink.
Yeah.
And then you'll end up with the metal down the bottom of your car instead of all over it.
So I'm going to waffle on for a few minutes here. Ian sent me like a UFO rescue, a Jerry Anderson UFO rescue package of stuff I didn't even know existed. So these are the kind of things that Ian sent me. That's Gabrielle Drake from the series, English actress, if you don't know. And recently he sent me a bigger version. And at some point I will do a live, sorry, not a live, but I'll record a video on my own channel to show you the Jerry Anderson collection I've got. A UFO novel. And there you can see almost a similarity between UFO and Space 1999 and how the astronauts are dressed, because Space 1999 was supposed to be the third series of UFO, but there was lots of arguments between America and the Brits about how they should market it and publish it. So that all fell foul. Mr. Ed Straker himself, Ed Bishop. So there's a couple of the portraits. Let me show you this patch. He sent me this patch, and this patch was worn by one of the actors in the show. And these patches were detachable. And I've actually got the picture. And forgive me, Ian, because I did say to you who the actor was, and I forgot who it was off the top of my head. And Ian's also sent all the details on the back. But I actually found the actor that was in this episode, and I can tell you the name of that actor and the patch he wore. So there was that. And just to show you, Ian, I am working on the White Interceptor, although her legs fell off at the minute. So I am doing a version of that. Ian gave me a virtual tour of his house, and he's got a version of that as well that he's done himself. I love it. It's the studio version that I'm working on. George Sewell, that was in many British shows like Jason King.
Jason King, God, I've gone back a few years.
Jason King. Not The Professionals. What's the one with Roger Moore and Tony Curtis?
Oh, blimey! Randall Lockhart, was it? Randall Lockhart?
No, was it not the Pretender? Somebody.
Another one
Ian, thank you. That patch, I did send Ian show Ian a picture. Patrick Allen was the guy that wore this patch. It's amazing that you can track it all back. Persuaders, thanks, Kev. Persuaders.
Yeah.
We have got, if you remember these as a kid, cigarettes, candy cigarettes.
I remember them. Yeah, don't strike
Luke's
very well.
wondering what the hell we're talking about now.
No, I remember that.
Yeah. This is a fantastic one. This picture. That's from an episode of Space 1999, and the guy in the long wig, a long white wig, is Christopher Lee. Believe it or not. There were some brilliant actors that appeared in these shows. Some of them, I wasn't convinced. I wasn't a big Space 1990 fan because of how they did some of the monsters. But Ian's even sent me postcards. So this. I was wetting myself when I looked at this stuff, as Ian knows. And most recently, this is just a portion of it, so I don't want to show everything, but a 320-piece UFO jigsaw puzzle from 1971, 2, Ian, 73, something like that. I'm going to send this down. Well, I'm going to take it down to my dad tomorrow and ask him to do it for me because my dad was doing jigsaw puzzles, and then we're going to frame it. So that'll be that. Just a portion of stuff. Just a portion of the stuff. Love it. And can anybody remember Look In?
I remember the magazine. Yeah,
magazine Look In. So on the front there.
I mean, I used to have Cindy, but that was
$1 million man. You know, so you could, when you look around here, 1970. Thank you, Ian. We've actually on the back of this. Look at that. That's Elvis on the back of this.
Blimey.
Yeah.
So, Ian, my I keep saying this, but my heartfelt thanks that you sent me this stuff. It blew me away. It's we had a bit of problems getting parcels here, but they did arrive safely. Eventually, I had to track them down. It was a bit of a
trouble squad, you think?
Yeah, but
should have come to the International Post Office, International Space Station. Yeah, mate. We post to Australia. We post to Hungary. You know.
Yeah. So they are. I've got my Ian Ollie box, which is put to one side. So hopefully, some of the boys can show you in the future some of the things that Ian has sent to them.
Yeah.
Just to show you, Ian, I don't know whether you've seen this before. This is one that I don't know whether Mick's still there by the looks of it. This is the cheetah from the new version of Captain Scarlet. I don't know whether you've got one of those. I can't remember how to. Mick, I'm not going to flick it out because I can't remember, and I've had a couple of scotches and I'll probably break it. But there is a cheetah. If anybody knows where I can get a rhino from, which is the new version of the SP. There you go. I'd love one of those. So there you go. This is this episode's version of Holly's Corner. Thank you, my friend. It's much appreciated, and it was good to see you the other night on Friday. It was good to see you Friday.
Yeah, right. And that's playing up again.
Before I cause any damage to it.
Keeps going off my internet. I'm afraid.
That's fair enough, Mike. We're about coming. We've almost made our 2-hour limit.
I think my internet's playing up saying you've done 2 hours, son. Get off.
2 hours. I mean? Not anymore. Yeah.
I
think that's what we're aiming for. We didn't think we'd met 2 hours this week. We got to the subject matter, but there you go.
Because the old meter's running out, I think.
So I'm going to put that away safely. Right. So, Jerry, great stuff. It is great stuff, mate. It's as I've mentioned earlier on. I can't thank people enough for the generosity. It's been incredible.
Oh, it's a good community. We've got going here. I mean, regardless what it is, whether it's people sending each other stuff, we're swapping stuff. If anybody's, I think we've got quite a few people who've got quite a lot of stuff. And, you know, it's like Andy, if he's doing decals, I'll say to Andy, anything you need, mate, you know, give me a shout. I'll have a route round of boxes and turf him a load of stuff out. Same as Luke, same as you. Not so much you, but yeah.
I got the box of Hot Wheels. Nobody wanted.
Yeah.
No, I might put some of them, mate, for the engines.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah, I've got a big box of Hot Wheels here that I went for a phase of collecting Hot Wheels 10 years ago. Well, maybe what was it, 2000, something like that. And they were only like 80p each. And I thought I'd buy a load of those. And I got a big tub full of the bloody things. And I was giving away the grandkids for Christmas, you know. So I've still got a load in there. So if you want any Hot Wheels, let me know.
The only thing, well, not the only thing. I'll just jump into the chat. Thanks for showing, PJ. You are most welcome, my friend. it's an absolute honour, pleasure. I took that box down to show my mum and dad, Ian. My mum's a little bit, I can't remember that, but my dad's going, oh yes, that's blah blah blah, that's such and such. So he was stunned, mate. So you are most welcome, my friend. Excuse me. What was you saying, Martin? I lost track there.
I forgot. I lost track, mate. I'd gone.
Right. Okay. Tell you what, Martin. My little boy likes Hot Wheels. That was what I was talking about. Hot Wheels. A lot of our friends use Hot Wheels for the. It's not a pun. They use them for the wheels on the Hot Wheels.
Yeah. You've got a Matchbox.
That's one thing. And of course, the fastest thing to go down a Hot Wheels track is a Hot Wheel. If you want to put a 1950s/1960s 1/64 scale Matchbox car down a Hot Wheels track, well, you might as well count it in hours by the time it's going to get to the end of it. It's not the fastest thing on God's green earth. Perhaps the speed when they upscale the wheels, they may work better, but Hot Wheels cars and Hot Wheels tracks are the best combination.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan. I know No.
I mean, there was some I like the look of. You know, some of the muscle ones I like. I mean, I did try and go for the muscle cars, you know, and I thought they looked quite nice. But I think what put me off most of all was the tampos on and they looked a bit sort of, you know, like somebody been on. They shouldn't have been on when they're painting them. You know, the decals are too gaudy for me. But the style of the car, I like the shape and the style and what they've done with it. Low riders, you know, the drag ones and the street machine ones. But I think they just with too many decals, too many, you know. So for me personally, you know,
what is frustrating is we probably don't get the selection that our American friends get. If you're searching for things like the Adams, the coach from the Adams family, or the specialised Hot Wheels,
the red lines and stuff,
ones.
Yeah. It's like most things. It's like when Dinky and Corgi didn't always export to America and Canada. You know, it was. You know, so it's the same for us. We don't always get what they get over there. I mean, the same with the Tonka toys. I'm finding with the Tonka toys. You look, I'm on this Facebook page, Old Boy for Old Toys, and some of the stuff comes on there. I'm like, look at that, beautiful stuff. You know, the tin plate stuff, the really old Tonkas. And I'm going, you know what? We just didn't get that sort of stuff over here. Really.
I have some. Jerry's saying I have some of the Sweet 16 cars of Hot Wheels.
Oh yeah, it's the first 16 years.
If you guys want stuff that I can get, like Tonka, sorry, it's just flicked up slightly. If you guys want stuff that I can get, like Tonka London toys, Tootsie Toys, let me know. I hold my hands up. I've never heard of London Toys, Mark.
Yeah, London Toys. Yeah, London Toys. Yeah. It's the same with you, Jerry. I mean, I know you sent stuff to me in the past, but like I say, if there's anything you need, and just drop me a mail, and I'll sort something out. No problem for you. No problem, because I have quite a bit of stuff here that I'm quite willing to help out with anybody else who needs it or wants it. I know sometimes things are hard to get in different parts of the country, different parts of the world.
I'm just going to pick up on what Tag Heuer calendars. Tag Heuer.
Tag Heuer. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, I remember that symbol. Tag Heuer. Yeah, Tag Heuer. Yeah, they make watches and you used to get them on the fashion things, didn't they? You remember?
I remember watches.
Yeah. Tag Heuer. God, that's going back a bit.
That's from JMO, that is. Yeah. Ian saying,
like Route 66, isn't it? Splashed it on.
Ian saying, when I was a kid, I sent Matchbox super fast down the yellow tracks. Better made. That's what I was trying to think of, Ian.
Yeah,
I think you're better off if you want to use the Hot Wheels track, which is this is a conversation for a different day. This is a category for a different. I don't know what we're going to call this category, but it might be. Yeah. It might be tracks, and because we've got the Matchbox tracks, Mark, with the magnet.
Yeah. It could go in the category of extras, like you got your your original Matchbox track with the spring, which guide it around. Then you've got the magnetized one, the magnetrons. There's no end, isn't there? Then you got the Hot Wheels track. You got the Matchbox track.
Don't spoil it, son. Don't spoil it. I've just
I'm off on one. Anyway, it's. Do you realise it's nearly toast time?
It's
you're breaking into more toast time.
London Toys were made in London, Ontario.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they both released a video on the backmill striping. I have seen that, and Bob was got a steadier hand than I have. I'll tell you that. I've watched that video. God bless him. Martin, Hot Wheels track. Blah, blah, blah. Tag you. I don't think I have some of the sweets. What I will say is it the Johnny? Not Johnny. Are they Johnny 7?
Johnny Lightning. Johnny Lightning.
They do some brilliant classic vehicles. That's where I was looking for the Adams family or that kind of vehicle. Anyway. Christine, I got a Christine in from Johnny Lightning.
Johnny Lightning is just some nice stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, in America and Canada, they made some Tonkers in Canada as well. They did them in America and Canada because you get the little badge and it says on it, is it Minnesota or somewhere, and then there's somewhere in Canada as well. I can't quite remember what the name is, but
Play apps. Also, Corgi are reissuing the original Batmobile. Yes, they are.
They're holding it back, though, aren't they? They're holding that back at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah.
Pumping the price up on that, aren't they?
Yeah, I
think of course they are. You know they're going to, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm getting one. I'll just get one for the spares. I'm going to strip it for the spares.
Did you do one, Mark? Did you do a Batmobile?
No, I've got Batmobile to do. I've got the Goldfinger to do. Chicky Bang Bang to do. But because a lot of people do them, I tend to hold back a little bit until, I don't want to sort of go bang after somebody else. So, when I got more time.
You heard it here first, folks. This is Midlife Models, stroke Martin Dare, Dinky Restorations, challenge build, right? Buddy build, if you call it what you will.
We're throwing down the gauntlet.
We'll set a date. We'll put it on Facebook, and if anybody else wants to take part in doing a Batmobile, it's not a challenge. It's just a one-off. If you want to do it,
when's Corgi releasing their new one? I'll just snag one of them.
Yeah. We just need one and buy one.
I lost Dobby. I'm sorry, I had to lost Dobby footage.
I've got about 8 of them that I've been collecting. I mean, Kev's responsible if he's still in the chat. Kev sent me.
And I'm wondering actually whether Corgi are going to have done it the exact same as the original.
Yeah.
Because it'd be interesting. Because it's interesting to see if the parts are the same as the original parts. You know what I mean? So you could, if you got them, because you could strip for spares for an original.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. Yeah.
It'd be nice if we have done it. It would be.
But I would say,
40 quid a
yeah.
shot, I prepared to take it to pieces.
yeah, but the thing is, they went down when they started them Corgi remakes. They were quite cheap. If you'd notice over a period of time, they're getting more and more expensive. And I
Yeah.
would probably think that's one of the reasons why they're charging 40 quid for a Batmobile, because they know for a fact some bugger's going to strip it down for spares for an original,
Yeah.
don't they?
I mean, them flutes where the missiles come out of.
Yeah.
You look at something as simple as that. You can pay £6 for the replacement tubes, like, you know. It's
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, what's the most thing that you've seen on the Batmobile go? It's canopy. A start. That's always gone the canopy.
The canopy
And
is
a
a
lot of
killer.
that. Yeah, a lot of that is because Batman. I think one of them is in there permanently, isn't he? You can't get him out.
It's
You have to
Robin
put
that
him
you
in.
can't get hold of.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's only a little bugger, isn't he? So you're going to struggle to get hold of him.
He flips out, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
I'm just going to shout. I don't know whether I can turn the camera around enough, but Jerry's just said Jada. Jerry,
oh Jada, yes, Jerry, Jada, yeah. Mm.
I'll just try and move this out of the way, but I've got the tumbler, the 66, the Michael Keaton one, all in what they called 1/25th scale, the big ones. Anyway, my daughter buys them for me for Christmas or Father's Day, and they don't come out. They never come out of the boxes. Air-ons, thank you. And I've got the smaller versions up the top, the bigger than a 143 scale. I don't know what's bigger than 143 scale. Somebody else say
135, 135, I think. Going up.
I'm a bit of a Batmobile nut. The amount of Hot Wheels versions I've got is incredible. Anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah, the subject for another day.
Yeah, Batmobiles and accessories will come out of this one.
Yeah.
Thanks, as always, to my cohorts. 132 scale, yes. Mr. Martin, dear, thank you very much, Martin. Luke.
Always a pleasure, mate.
Thank you, sir. We are going to get together on the 19th of May.
Yeah,
I'm hoping me, Martin, Luke, Lee, and one of Martin's subscribers, whose name is Martin.
Nigel Ford, yeah.
Nigel, yeah.
We're hoping he meet up.
Yeah, we're going to a place called Dagfields, which is just.
Well, it's
go on, Luke. I know it's Nantwich area.
Oh my,
yeah, Stoke, Nantwich, that kind of area. So if anybody wants to come and join us, by all means contact one of us for directions. We'll give you details. But basically, it's about 10 auction sites on one big plot of land. We had a field day there. Samson cost me a bucket load of money, like he always bloody does when we meet up. I'm going to do the same thing to Dare. He's going to go home pocketless. By the time he's done. My thanks to everybody in the chat. It's always a pleasure when you guys join us. We'll be back in a fortnight's time, hopefully joined by Matchbox Mark Dandridge. That's it. This is me signing out.
Yeah. Good night, gentlemen. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Thanks for the chat.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Bye.